Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Team Doctor Tuesday here. Now, today we are going to go over the second inning. Now, there has not been a lot of grinding on my part this last week. This is my, I think, second to last week of college, and I have had a few papers, a few not midterms, a few exams. I don't even know what they're calling them right now. They're not midterms. They're not finals. They're not regular exams. They're just weird. But I'm mentioning that because I have really not had a lot of time to grind. The day that this came out, I got to 290 stars. The second day of the second inning, I got to 300 stars. Since then, I've gotten to 364 stars. I'm hoping that this weekend I'll be able to grind a little bit. But let's go ahead and go over ways that you guys can get program stars. Now, the first and foremost, I think the easiest one we went over drafting strategies last week, is the Showdown. Showdown will not only give you 70 stars, but the XP that you get for each one of the moments in the Showdown, the final Showdown, the XP that you get will give you levels. So if you look above me, right, all the way up by my stub count, which I've went full in and invested in prospects before this event. Hopefully, we see some more sell messages. I am level 60 silver now. Around each experience level, you get 3-ish stars. So the more XP that you get from doing these second inning showdowns, from doing the other moments that are out right now, you actually get XP. With those XP, you get stars for the program. You're going to want to get the stars so that you can unlock the bosses for free. Right now, the bosses are not that expensive. I sold Hanley for about 75k. So I have roughly enough, hopefully, after all my prospects go through to get him. If not, we're going to hope that we're able to get more stars. But another easy way to get stars are these daily missions. Now, with the brand new event that came out, which we'll go over that next week because all of the new team affinities and the new future stars cards will be out. That'll be a great topic for next week's video. You're able to do these daily missions, and a lot of these are online or multiplayer, and you can just build a team and put some of these cards in your team, right? 3 strikeouts with a common player, load up events, do it over and over again with a common starting pitcher, common relievers until you get 3 strikeouts. 3 holds, that's easy, right? Take the lead, call in a bullpen guy, hold, call in another bullpen guy, hold, maybe call in your closer if there's enough outs. With the new 3 batter minimum, this one might be harder than it was in the past, but doing both of these gets you 5 stars. You can play Arizona Diamondbacks. You can get that for 2 stars. Put a team full of Arizona Diamondbacks and just go into a random play versus CPU. Play 3-4 innings with a full team. Well, really you only need to play 2 innings with a full team, but 3-4 innings with a few players, and that one is easily done. Right, these refresh, so every time you complete them, another one will come in, and then you're able to do that. After that, it gets stuck on the new mission screen, and you have to wait for them to refresh. Now, going back into the second inning program, a great thing to do is get the missions here. So, with the current state of the game, this is not me complaining about it. I don't want to play ranked. I've lost more event games than I would like to because of some of the fielding glitches, and we're just going to leave it at that. I'm just trying to give you guys ways to get a good team without having to spend money. So the way you can do that is to go into some of these missions, right? Tally wins with breakout legend Bob Gibson. If you notice, that's online. I don't believe Bob Gibson counts in the new event, so that one you may have to do. Because it only has prospects, future stars, and faces of the franchise. So unfortunately, the Bob Gibson wouldn't qualify. as one of those. However, if you do play ranked or BR, you can easily use that card and get 2 wins with him. And the runs with breakout legend Jorge Posada, Jorge just came out today. Same thing, right? You get about 40 stars for completing those. The Conquest, again, same thing with the Showdown. You get 30 stars for completing the Conquest. We made a video about the Conquest earlier. Go check out, I believe that was episode 3, probably. I'll link that in the description. But you get 30 stars and you get XP. Remember, for each experience level that you get, it's about 1 to 3 stars. Moving on here with the collections, right? The second inning collection is if you have the voucher. So if you have all 3 bosses for the first inning, you exchange them for a voucher and use that to get stars. Faces of the franchise, I have, I believe, 9 or 10 faces of the franchise. I still need to grind on that again. I've been really struggling with schoolwork to grind on the game, but hey, right? This is kind of a good thing for you guys. You can see that, you know, a lot of other content creators will give you advice. Oh, grind this, grind that. I was able to grind all 10 of these things in one day, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys watching don't play the game 20 hours a day. You don't grind nonstop. You probably will get burned out, right? So take your time, right? With some of the second inning stuff, it is time sensitive. We only have 10 more days basically to complete the second inning. But outside of that, take your time, grind at your own leisure. Get some of these done, right? The collection's not that bad. The Al Kaline, Bob Gibson, and Jorge Posada, right? You get 20 stars each one of those, and that's not that difficult, right? The biggest thing with those is it just takes time. Take some time, do the moments. If you can get the online missions done, that's great. If not, it's all good. But the second inning program, I think, is great. A lot of people are, you know, upset that we're not getting full 99 overall programs yet, but hey, they'll come out with those. I'm excited for the cards that they give us. They allow me to use different cards for my tournament. We're going to be having a tournament this Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there, twitch.tv/strikeout1066 if you'd like to enter. And it's going to be a God Squad tournament. So any team that you want to make, any players that you want to make, just no creative players, no knuckleballers, any player outside of that goes. Right? So start grinding towards the second inning. If you're able to buy the bosses, which we'll see how many stubs I have here. If you're able to buy the bosses, that's great. Try to buy all 3 if you can. If not, no big deal. You can get more stars, and we'll go over that once the third inning program comes out. Alright guys, so the next thing that we're going to do is take a look at some of your teams. Before I do that, I just want to show off, my team really hasn't changed much since last week. Again, have not really had the chance to grind. We've been extremely busy with schoolwork, so no real change. Same thing with pitching, no real changes. So let's go ahead and take a look at 1 and 2 of your guys' teams. Alright, so this is one of my followers on Twitch. I'm not going to give out his name or anything like that. That told me I've been doing a good job with these Team Dr. Tuesdays. I really appreciate that. You know who you are. And I just want to say, you have a very good-looking team here, right? Good bench. He's got Gary on the bench. He's got Joey Gallo on the bench. Granderson on the bench. Jose Ramirez on the bench. His starters are very good. The 2 places that I think you can improve for this team are center field and first base. Now, clearly, you have grinded a lot of cards, and you've done a really good job getting the face of the franchise. So as these future stars cards come out, I think some of them definitely have a spot in your team. But for now, I think that we can replace your first baseman here with potentially Matt Olson or Josh Bell. I think Devers is a good player. but I think you're going to get much better defense with much better hitting out of either Bell as a switch hitter or face the franchise Matt Olson. And I think the next thing that we want to switch is your center fielder. Now, Conforto is a very solid card. I wouldn't say he's a very good face of the franchise card. I would say he's a very solid diamond to have on your team. But I do think that both offensively and defensively, there are some things to be desired about that card. I don't know what your play style is, but I could definitely see getting one of the new cards, one of the new face of the franchise / future stars cards, right? The Team Affinity new one, the future stars in center field. I think that we will get some very good outfielders, and at the time of recording this, there's not one that is standout yet that I want to suggest. But I would say the new future stars are coming out soon. You've clearly grinded a lot of the face of the franchises. See which future star in center field is going to be good, right? A lot of these young guys coming up are probably going to be very fast and are probably going to have very good defensive stats. So let's just find one that has good defensive stats as well as speed and maybe power for center field. So I would keep an eye out on that. You're in my stream all the time. I'll go over them as they're coming out to see which ones I suggest. Now, pitching wise, I think your team is very solid right now. The Yankees' new starting pitcher, the future star card, he looks pretty good, right? So I would probably replace John Smoltz with him. But again, right, bullpen is looking strong. You got a few lefties in there. You got Raleigh Fingers. I would maybe replace the Mariano Rivera with a better card if possible. But I really think that your team is looking good. And we'll see, again, with the future stars, which cards continue to come out and catch our eye to see what we can improve your team with. Right? This is a team that I would say both starting pitching, relief, and all the positions that you have are about the best team that you can grind for without spending any money. But the good thing is we're getting new cards soon. So if you have a team like this and you're watching, I would work towards some of the new future stars once they come out. If you're watching this and you don't have a team that's at this level yet, that's fine. This is a team that you can pretty much get without spending any stubs. Regardless of any money on the game, you can get this team pretty much without spending any stubs, which is ideal when I'm making these videos to suggest players for you guys to go for, because some of you guys give me a budget of, 500 stubs or 1,000 stubs. Obviously, we're not really going to buy a good player to put in your team for 500 stubs, So this is a great team to work towards if you don't have a team at this level yet. All right, guys, the last team that we're going to look at today is one of my first subscribers on Twitch. And we looked at this team on stream, but I think this is a great team to show off to you guys at home, right? I think this is a very solid team. However, I think that this team can be improved with some of the cards that we went over, specifically here in the bench, right? I think that Mantle card is a decent card. I think that Curtis Granderson is a pretty decent card, but some of the face of the franchise cards like Juan Soto, I think, is better than that Gary Sanchez card. I think that the face of the franchise Josh Bell is better than Mickey Mantle. But looking at the bench, there's a few cards that he has that can easily be replaced by their face of the franchise versions, right? The Josh Bell face of the franchise is very, very good. It's a very strong card. The Joey Gallo, again, that's one of the top ones that I recommend. I also recommend a catcher for the bench here, right? Yachty is a great option. He's not that hard. Like I said, the American League Central Showdown, not that difficult. But this is a team that I think can be improved by grinding and interjecting a few of the face of the franchise cards too. That Carlos Gonzalez has a very good arm, pretty decent hitter. But outside of that, I think that both Mantle and Granderson are good against one side of the, facing him as a pitcher. That Adalberto Mondesi card is a very good card. I don't know the type of defense he's giving you at third compared to, a Yon Moncada. I think that Mondesi could be a great card for the bench, right? Even if you do like a double switch, even if you replace Gleyber Torres and your pitcher in one move, I think that Mondesi card, if he's not your starting shortstop, you should stick him on the bench. Replace that Trey Turner maybe as a pinch runner. But we went over this team, McNorse. This is a good looking team. But for you guys at home, if you have a team that's similar to this, where you don't have very well-rounded players in certain positions, like I said, Curtis Granderson or Mickey Mantle, with only being able to hit really one side, one arm, and, you have a player like Adalberto Mondesi who you want to have in your team, but just doesn't fit over certain other players, I genuinely think that it's worth it to just grind for some of the face of the franchise players, or, like I said, some of the future stars cards. Now, if we take a look at his starting pitching, this is where I told him to focus on mostly. His position players look good. Like I said, they're solid the way they are. But this is where I think most of his time and effort should go into. Getting the Blake Snell face of the franchise. Getting the Shohei Ohtani face of the franchise. Grinding for the Conquest cards, or grinding for the Bob Gibson to hopefully pull some guys for the bullpen, right? The pitching of this team is the area that I would focus on most. And there are cards that you can get for absolutely free. Alright guys, I just want to thank you guys for watching this Team Doctor Tuesday. I know it was a little bit of a shorter one. However, like I said, we are moving towards the end of the semester for me. Hopefully 2 weeks from now, I will be done. I'll be a college graduate, and I can put much more time into my YouTube and my Twitch. I'm very excited for that. Until then, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great rest of the night.